Let us pray. O divine Creator, as we gather in this place, our hearts and minds turn to the spirit of wisdom, which shaped this college and continues to breathe life onto this campus. Collective wisdom that was born from the gathering of knowledge from trusted mentors who have dedicated their lives to this place. We are grateful for the passion and continued commitment of this institution to equip gifted and bright leaders of today and tomorrow. For these Hendrix College exemplars we lift before you today, we give thanks. Those who embody so well the virtues of compassion, creativity, storytelling, and innovative scholarship. As they share their journeys with us, keep our minds open to new ideas, that we may grow in our understanding of the nature of all living beings and our connectedness with the world, that we may become more filled with generosity of spirit and strive to heal the hurts around us, that we may be those who speak truth through creative mediums. May these stories inspire us to value each and every human being for who she is, for who he is, reaching to the spirit that is within, knowing the power of each individual to change the world. Amen.
Good morning, and for goodness sake, sit down. Well, thank you for joining us today as we celebrate the achievements of 4 outstanding Hendrix alums. Now, those of you who are regulars at this event will have noticed that this year we are having an Odyssey Medal Convocation rather than one in honor of Founders Day. This change is in no way intended to be slighting of our actual founders or of our founder, according to social media, Jimi Hendrix. Instead, it is intended to make clear to all that today is not about some misty past almost 14 decades ago in a little town down the highway now choked with very un-Methodist and unacademic wineries, or for that matter, about great guitar solos, purple haze, and psychedelic blacklight posters. Of course, we are thankful for the founders and truly grateful for the generations of faculty and staff, students and alums, supporters and friends who have contributed to the growth of Hendrix College over the generations. But today, we are here to recognize the spirit and the genius of this place and this community that has long nurtured and continues to nurture individuals of character, accomplishment, and true substance. And above all, we are here to celebrate and to hear from 4 extraordinarily accomplished graduates. Folks who took that broad, rigorous, and engaged experience of the liberal arts at Hendrix and built upon it careers of distinction and lives of meaning. They are testaments to the Hendrix faculty and staff who taught and mentored them, models to the students here who are following in their footsteps, and inspirations to us all. Before we meet this year's Odyssey medalists, I am pleased to introduce the Hendrix College Choir under the direction of Dr. Andrew Morgan.
Hark, I hear the harps eternal ringing on the farther shore, as I hear those swollen waters with their deep and solemn roar. Hallelujah,
Thank you to Dr. Morgan and the Hendricks College Choir. Now, the Odyssey program is, as you all know, the heart and soul of Hendricks College today. It is the natural evolution of the college's long-standing commitment to experiential learning, going beyond the classroom, beyond the textbook, and beyond the tired old refrain, "Is that going to be on the test?" And although today every college and university in this nation makes the claim that it offers state-of-the-art engaged learning, very few places have done it for as long or now do it anywhere near as well as we do here at Hendricks. And nothing illustrates this more clearly than the journeys of the 4 Hendricks graduates who have returned to campus this morning. Today, Hendricks College and the Board of Trustees are proud to honor the accomplishments of alumni who exemplify the ideals of Hendricks College and the Odyssey program. 3 Hendricks students who have completed Odyssey projects in the areas for which medals are being awarded have been asked to introduce our honorees. The Provost, Terry Bonebright, will introduce each student presenter. And we're very pleased today to have Mr. Paul Craig, a member of the Hendricks Board of Trustees, who will assist me in the presentation of the Odyssey medals. Mr. Craig is a 1960 physics graduate of Hendricks and received the Odyssey Medal for Professional and Leadership Development in 2004, the very first year that the medals were awarded. And he told me that when he received his medal, he did not know he was going to have to give a talk. And so that was quite a surprise. I think everyone here is prepared, right? We're all ready to go? After the medal presentation, each recipient will be asked to respond. Provost Bonebright, could you please introduce the first student?
Good morning. My introductions will be brief because each student will be talking about him or herself and how their Odyssey experiences connect them with the honoree, as well as sharing information about the alumni we are honoring today. Grace Oxley is a senior English literary study major and fine arts double major from Bryant, Arkansas. She will introduce the recipients of the Odyssey Medal for Special Projects.
Thank you, Provost Bonebright. When I came to college, I thought I was a photographer. Sure, I had a point-and-shoot camera and an external hard drive jam-packed with images. I also had a smartphone with thousands upon thousands of photographs saved and preserved for the future, or at least until I bought a new iPhone. It wasn't until my first class in the photo lab that I realized owning an iPhone or a smartphone does not make you a photographer. Since taking film photography at Hendricks, I have learned that part of being a fine art photographer is taking care to ensure the longevity of your images. From processing film to making enlargements, so many steps are directly related to preserving the image on the negative or on the print. Several academic disciplines are involved in this process. The humanities inform image making. The physical sciences allow images to materialize. The arts, the humanities, and the physical sciences all come together in the darkroom. The Nortons, Elizabeth and Wendel, are 2 alumni who have worked over 20 years in this intersection of disciplines. As fine art conservators, they're concerned with preserving images, sculptures, murals, friezes, columns, and even Civil War-era satchels and Tim Burton movie puppets. When the Nortons work, they are combining a sophisticated understanding of history, chemistry, and studio practices. Their business, Norton Arts, requires the couple to utilize different ways of knowing, artistic and scientific. This interdisciplinary approach is what the Hendricks Odyssey program terms special projects. I, too, have experience working in this diverse category of engaged learning. Over the past 2 years, I have received funding to attend the Society for Photographic Education annual conference as a part of a group of students and Professor Maxine Payne. Our attendance at the conferences in Baltimore and New Orleans is considered special projects because each conference provided us with an experience that combines artistic creativity and professional and leadership development opportunities. The Nortons' practice of fine art conservation also combines professionalism, leadership, and creativity. Both Nortons share responsibilities, Elizabeth running the administrative part of their company, and Wendel working as the head conservator. A few years ago, the Arkansas Art Center hired them to assess the state of one of the museum's prize holdings, Two Women, a Cubist oil painting by Diego Rivera. Their assessment revealed the painting to be intact and ready to be loaned for an upcoming exhibition. Additionally, the report noted that the last time the painting had undergone servicing, in the 1960s, a wax relining had been applied to its back, a wax revealed to be less stable than the polymers used by conservators today. This is one of many projects the Nortons have completed in their complex and important work as conservators of fine art. President Satsui, I present to you Elizabeth Ragsdale Norton, class of 1975, and Wendel Norton, class of 1973, to receive the Odyssey Medal for special projects.
In recognition of a professional and personal life well lived, the Hendricks Board of Trustees and Hendricks College are honored to present Elizabeth Ragsdale Norton and Wendel Norton with the 2015-16 Odyssey Medal for special projects, and to hold them up to our students, our alumni, and the community at large as a testament to the value of engaged liberal arts and sciences education at Hendricks College.
This is a lot more emotional than I had planned. Thank you. Thank you, Grace, for that very thorough introduction. That's impressive. Good morning, and thank each of you for being here. This is an incredible honor for us. I wear several hats, and one of my hats is as an administrator at a private school in New York City. One day I was standing outside the college guidance office and I saw a poster and it said, "Colleges that change lives." There were little dots where these colleges belonged, and there were not a lot of dots, and in the state of Arkansas there was only one dot, and you know that that was for Hendricks. I was just so proud. And today I want to tell you a little bit about how Hendricks changed my life. First, though, I need to confess to you that I did not even know about Hendricks until my best friend Joyce said one day, "You know, I think Hendricks is a pretty good school." We didn't want to follow the crowd to Fayetteville. We were not interested in sororities. We didn't think we were interested in parties. We found out later that maybe we were. So I applied to one college. I applied to Hendricks. So risky, but you know, it's the beauty of youth. You just assume that things are going to work out, and it did. The professors at Hendricks changed my life. They mentored excellence, and they still do. This kind and brilliant community of teachers was committed to our education, to expanding our horizons. Bob McGill changed my life. He took the talent that existed in small towns all over Arkansas, from Bryant and Bauxite and Stuttgart and Bald Knob, and built a stellar choral program. He set such a high standard, and you guys lived up to it today. Thank you. He fashioned Hendrix's candlelight and carol service after the lessons and carols at King's College, Cambridge. It is one of Hendrix's most beloved and enduring traditions, as you know. That music is in me. I'm quite sure that if you could do DNA testing for music, all those carols would be in my DNA. I still sing. For 15 years, I've sung with the Oratorio Society of New York. Andrew Carnegie built Carnegie Hall for the society so that they could have a place to sing. His wife was in the group, and honey, we need a place. I've sung at Carnegie Hall and at Lincoln Center under the direction of Robert Shaw and Alan Gilbert and Kent Tridle. At Hendrix, I came to believe that music is a universal language. Now, about 10 years ago, I worked with our students filming Ice-T's Rap School. Perhaps you saw it, for MTV. Working with hip-hop pioneers like Grandmaster Caz and Ice-T, as well as the next generation, Common and Public Enemy. That's a story. It is an understatement to say that I was a fish out of water. A wonderful thing that I learned at Hendrix that served me well for my hip-hop experience. Do not disregard that which you do not understand or which is new to you. There's a story there. There is history there. And if you will take the time to understand, take the time to walk around in someone else's experience, you will build bridges and you will help build a better world. Bob Merriweather changed my life. This gentle giant of a man with a laugh that you could be heard all through the campus helped me to understand that teaching allows you to take your humanity out into the world. That teaching children to love themselves is one of the most powerful tools you can give them. And it is more fun than you could ever imagine. When I came to Hendrix, the English department had its work cut out for them. They had to teach me how to write well. Every time I'm inclined to write, I'll give you a call. Even in a casual email, I cannot do it. Because Chuck Chappell is sitting on my shoulder saying, really? How do you give a call to someone? Chuck Chappell, you changed my life. And I love you for it. Warfield Teague loved the Dewey sisters. Somehow the fact that a brainy, hip Hendrix chemistry professor thought it was cool to enjoy our funny little group inspired me. And I came to see how important diversity and community were. Warfield Teague changed my life. In 1994, when Wendel, Vanessa, and I decided to return to Arkansas due to my mother's recent diagnosis of ALS, we decided to launch our fine arts conservation business in this region. Wendel has an extraordinary depth of knowledge of art history, thanks to Don Marr and Bill Hawes. He also is a great student of chemistry, and I have no idea how he does. But for 21 years, we've conserved works of art and historic artifacts, and have worked to preserve historic structures and their components. The liberal arts education was a great foundation for the research and problem solving needed for conservation. We conserved Robert E. Lee's dispatch bag, the bag that he used for the surrender papers at Appomattox, and now belongs to one of his descendants. I love that the bag of a military leader was lined with green and white gingham. Wendel loved the muskrat pelts sewn into the leather sides. We conserved the artwork that Norman Rockwell first presented to the Art Students League. Rockwell left high school to pursue his passion. He was a talented artist before we knew him by his iconic magazine illustrations. As Grace said, we conserved the puppets for Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. We conserved Hendrix's Doughboy statue for the Young Wise Memorial. We conserved the Art Deco aluminum components at the federal courthouse in Baton Rouge. There we really used our problem-solving skills. Modern materials are difficult. We have restored our 19th century Ozark vernacular farmhouse in Newton County. We have conserved works by Anthony Van Dyck, Jean Dubuffet, and Jackson Pollock, to name a few. Our education taught us to see beauty in all kinds of art forms. Norton Arts was featured in AETN's Silent Storytellers, which won 3 Emmy Awards. We talked about our love of history and our passion for preserving history through the preservation of cemetery monuments. It has been and continues to be a fascinating journey. So I want to thank my friend Joyce for your loyal friendship and for getting me to Hendrix. I thank my parents who trusted me to make decisions that were right for me. Thank you, Wendel, for bringing out the creativity in me. Thank you, V and Tim, for continuing the tradition. You take this education to such a high level. Thank you to our family who are here today. And most of all, thank you, President Tsutsui, and thank you to the Board of Trustees. To receive this recognition from you is such an honor. You have dedicated yourselves to continuing to build a college that changes lives. I thank you for your vision and for your commitment. This place matters. Thank you.
Hi. Well, I tell you, it's wonderful to work with Liz because all of the things that she said, I would say, probably not in quite such an eloquent way, but she said them. So now I get to say some things about creativity. I don't know what it is today. It is such a beautiful day outside. We're in here. But there's also something going on in here that makes me think of, do some of you remember Maynard G. Krebs, the beatnik from Dobie Gillis? He's always going, I'm getting a little misty here. And all of our fellow honorees here seem to have experienced this. This is really, really an honor for us. And I thank you so much to all of us. My voice is changing or something, I don't know. It has been quite a fine creative run for Liz and I, both, with much more to come. Through the years, we've had together times that we agreed that our lives were a bit unconventional. I think a lot of this started at Hendrix College because we were both from South Arkansas, Crossett and El Dorado. And at that time, things were not quite so conventional there. I don't think we started wearing bell bottoms till 10 years after. But remember that, Wes? We got our bell bottoms. I think that we've both been drawn to the ideals that natural curiosity attracts into our lives. Quite naturally so. After all, Liz and I met in the architecturally gorgeous building, Trishman Hall, where we were earlier today. It was built in 1962. Vanessa let me know before we came in here today, and that was the period right before we started, 10 years before we were at Trishman. So it was such a beautiful place. It was the Cathedral of Fine Arts on Hendrix College campus at that time. It had art studios that were set up in such a wonderful way by the professors. There were 2 art professors there at the time. And, as years go by, the great thing is that, an aside here, you get a little bit older and you get to go, well, back in all 15. So we're working on that. The professors of visual arts there had the art department, and it was all in Trishman Hall. What a beautiful art studio. We affectionately called Don Marr, Dandy Don Marr, and Mr. Hawes, Professor Hawes, was Wild Bill Hawes. And we had fun over there. We had such a wonderful time. They had created an environment where an aspiring artist, such as I was, could come and basically do what we wanted to do, exploring all the creative aspects of the visual arts, have as much instruction as we wanted, but not too much. And during this period of time, I was able to grow in my love and respect for the fine arts, for visual arts specifically. I painted and sculpted day and night with abandon at the Trishman Studios. It was open 24 hours a day, and so at almost any time I could be over there working. Also at Trishman, you may know, the music department was housed, and Dr. McGill was there with the choir. It had many practice rooms and a theater. And the greatest thing was that you could hear this music coming through there as you were doing fine artwork. It was really, really a wonderful environment. There are parts of your mind that work with visual arts that are really affected in a very fine way by hearing music. And to me, it was just heaven. It was my first art studio, and I loved it. I really loved it. The Hendrix College Choir seemed like every day. I can't remember now, every afternoon. And as I worked my brush strokes, I was, like I say, I was in heaven. I really loved it. Most importantly at this time, though, as far as I was concerned, was the fact that each day after practice, the beautiful Elizabeth Ragsdale would be walking by after practice, heading towards supper, and she would appear right outside the window that I was working by. As I painted, I looked for a glimpse of her starting out, and then as time went on, I kind of moved in, you know. I know some of you students can relate to that. You're all finding your loves and loves of creativity and loves of each other and all of these wonderful things that you see unfolding before you right now in this time of your life. It's really an important time of life. And just remember it and take advantage of it. When you're in the middle of it, you know, it just seems like every day. But when you look back on it, you think, man, that was amazing, wasn't it? So as I saw Liz walking by every day, my heart turned to her and loved her. Getting misty. I just want to talk a minute, though, about creativity. You know, this occasion gave me the possibilities to wonder about creativity and how it is that I'm really curious about how it is that Hendrix College and the environment here and this experience at Hendrix, even today, so effectively facilitates the creative parts of our lives. How does this work? How is it that so many that come here to live and study so intensely for a time continue on in life, as my fellow honorees have? We are enriched and empowered by what we got here and by this creative learning experience. The dynamics of it are open to our thought processes. Just think this through with me. I believe that the observations that we may experience thinking about these questions, as we ponder these questions, the questions surrounding our creative learning, they'll be found to be quite dynamic in our lives, in the future of Hendrix and the now of Hendrix. I pose these questions with the understanding that these are not new questions here. And the very fact that this wonderful learning environment exists here at Hendrix is proof that we as a learning community, we've developed a great knowledge leading to now and where we have come from. It's just so much fun and very productive to look at something that we can see is really working like the creative environment here at Hendrix, and let our minds delve into the beauty of how it works. Through this process comes even more refinement and renewal in the process through the years to come. I enjoy studying the insights of the theoretical physicist Richard Feynman, one of my heroes, and of many, many people. He was arguably one of the greatest minds of our time. He didn't make it in this life to the millennium, but his thoughts are here with us daily. He distilled thoughts for his students and for his colleagues in his writings. I just want to take a moment and give you some of Richard Feynman's thoughts on creativity. Number one is be curious about anything. Number two, he said, be bold and try something new. Number three, very important, be playful. The pleasure should be in finding things out. Be brutally honest about what you find out. Go so deeply that you forget about anything else. Provide a solid length of time, plenty of time to do these, the research that you need, all of the things that we look at in our own disciplines. Take plenty of time to do it. Aim for simplicity in our answers. And then really know what you do going through this process. I love the way Richard Feynman playfully describes the creative quest for knowledge in our lives very simply as the pleasure of finding things out. Thank you very much to all of you. And do everything, all it is.
Congratulations to all our newest Odyssey Medal recipients, and thank you so much for your meaningful and heartfelt words here this morning. What you have accomplished in your life sets an example and a standard for us all. We'll continue to watch with great interest as your Odysseys continue and as you make a difference in the world beyond this campus. Thank you all for being here today and sharing this moment in the life of the college. Can I ask you to now please rise for the singing of the Alma Mater and remain standing for the benediction. And please remain at your seats until the platform party and the faculty have recessed.
As we go forth, guided by the Spirit, may you find contentment in an honest day's work and fulfillment in personal relationships. May you be filled with inner peace each evening and greet every morning with joy. And may you be grounded in the knowledge that you make a difference to those around you. Amen.